Hello, hello, everyone. We are just letting everyone in, and so we will get started just momentarily, but we are so excited to have you here. And as I'm letting people in, we are at the top of the hour. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to American Family Insurance DreamBank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. For those of you that are familiar with DreamBank, welcome back. And for those of you that this is your first time joining us, welcome. Here at DreamBank, here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community, destination, and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Ann Imig is an award-winning writer, speaker, and performer, currently working as a certified positive psychology life coach. In 2010, she created the national-wide storytelling series and book, Listen to Your Mother, now a licensed theatrical production. Ann helps people face life's inevitable challenges with more ease and optimism, both personally and professionally. You can find Ann at listenlifecoaching.com. All right, Ann, take it away.
Thank you so much, Madeline, and thank you to DreamBank for hosting today. Thank you all for spending your lunch half hour with me. Why am I talking to you about this today? Well, I'm a creative professional who spent most of my life basing my self-worth on my accomplishments. During the pandemic, a big professional disappointment sent me into a down spiral despite the beautiful, abundant life around me. Long story short, I became trained in positive psychology coaching, helping not only my own well-being, but coaching others to do the same. So today we only have 30 minutes less, actually. So this is going to be a bit of a crash course. I hope it's not an information fire hose, and you can contact me afterward to get these slides. So today, just try to hang in there with me. Maybe you take a nugget or two with you. Don't stress out, just listen and enjoy. And I'll share contact at the end for you if you want to go deeper with me one-on-one. I've designed this to make it as clear and digestible as possible. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to begin with a 2-minute centering exercise. And all that means is we're going to tune into our senses really deeply for 2 minutes. I'm going to tell you the what and why of positive psychology. And I'm going to answer your questions at the end. I'm not going to be looking at the chat at all. Madeline will be the facilitator for the chat. She'll pop in if there's anything I need to know as we're going along, but I will get to your questions at the end. And then I'm going to leave you with a short writing exercise. Maybe right after we get off of this webinar, you spend 5 or 10 minutes just reflecting and jotting a few things down. That's going to be a mood boost in real time. So let's get into it. First, I can't see you, but if you have distractions, put them away. Maybe turn off your monitor just briefly. And what we're going to do is we're going to settle into our chair. Feel your feet on the ground or underneath you if you're in lotus position, and become aware of your breathing. We're going to take 3 deep breaths and let each breath be a little bit lower and a little bit slower than the one before it. Let go of any thoughts you're having. It's totally normal. Now you're going to take 2 fingertips and rub them together with such attention to detail that you can feel the fingertip ridges on both fingers. So try to feel the fingertip ridges on both fingers. Now you can take your fingertips of one hand and feel your fingers in your palm of the other hand and all the sensations available. temperature, texture. Maybe you notice different parts of your hand are more sensitive than the other. So just let go of any thoughts you're having and try to feel your hand on your fingers and your fingers on your hand. Notice all the sensations you can on your hands and your fingers. And now just let go of any thoughts you're having and listen for the farthest away sound you can hear. And now listen to the closest sound you can hear. And if you haven't noticed your own breathing, listen to that sound. And then take one more deep breath and then come back to our presentation and we will get into it. Oops, I'm having a little trouble with my slides. Okay, first and foremost, what positive psychology is not is toxic positivity. This is not about shaming or pushing down negative feelings. It is not about faking or forcing positivity. This is not about taking your mad mood and turning it instantly into happy, everything's amazing. That is not what we're talking about today. I wanted to make that real clear for anybody who's got that fear going into this. What is positive psychology? It's the study of what works. So perhaps you are familiar with the name Martin Seligman. He is one of the fathers of modern psychology. He and his colleagues developed that huge DSM manual for diagnosing mental illness. We could call that what does not work with humans. And in the early 2000s, he made a huge pivot. We've spent all these years in psychology studying what does not work, what does work for humans, and how can we reach more of that into our lives. So positive psychology acknowledges the universality of hardship and human suffering. First and foremost, life's ups and downs. Those challenges are going to come what may. And it utilizes a person's unique strengths to generate hope and optimism. There's a big body of research. Positive psychology is well-researched, evidence-based, research-backed information now. And thanks to neuroscience, we have brain imaging. We can see the actual changes in our brains when we use positive psychology. And it has associated with better health, people living longer, better relationships and connectivity. Perhaps you've read or heard about how detrimental isolation is for people. Positive psychology creates better connections and relationships, better enjoyment of your day-to-day life, and better performance. So when you're thinking about making your dreams come true, and you're thinking if you're somebody who is a real go-getter and goal attainer, you can still achieve all those goals and have it not take a toll on your well-being. Like I referenced myself, I used to be the person who was a hyperachiever. No amount of achievement was enough. And when I would reach a big goal, I couldn't even savor it. I couldn't experience it. I was always racing on to the next thing. And that benchmark would just get farther and farther away from me. Maybe that resonates for some of you. I am still achieving goals. I am enjoying my day-to-day life now, and this is all thanks to positive psychology. Okay, so we are not just talking about happy. When we are talking about positive emotions, there is a wide range. Maybe one of these jumps out at you. If you are feeling stuck, if you are in a low mood, if you are facing a big challenge, happiness might be way too far afield. But maybe you can access a little more serenity, pride in what you are doing and your resilience, awe. If you go outside into nature today here in Madison, Wisconsin, we have beautiful snow and sunshine. It creates awe. positive emotion in your body. Interest, maybe you get more curious about your challenge. What might not I be seeing? What might I be missing that could help me? Amusement, everybody always appreciates somebody who can bring levity into a situation. Love, gratitude, you've probably heard a lot about the research between gratitude and positivity and how important it is for our well-being, and we'll get more into that. Hope, inspiration, joy, so much of this. And essentially what we're doing is this quote here by Barbara Fredrickson, who's an incredible researcher and author in positive psychology. She says, positivity opens us. The first core truth about positive emotions is that they open hearts and minds, making us more receptive and more creative. She is being literal here. Positive emotions literally open our brain and create more possibilities in real time. If you've ever heard the phrase tunnel vision, it's real. When our body becomes stressed, our peripheral vision actually reduces and we see less around us physically. And when we get stressed, we see less possibilities inside of our brain. So this is very real. She has a theory called the broaden and build theory. And the neuroscience backs this up, that when you begin to shift toward positive emotion, more positive emotion is accessible for you and more choices become possible. So really generally from a neuroscientific perspective today, if you have, if you tend toward negativity, we all do. The left side of our brain is so dominant in humans, and it comes from early humans, prehistoric times, when that rustling in the bushes could be something that was, going to pop out and kill us, right? And that's how our brain is still wired. We trap negativity and we hold on to it, and we so often respond with stress, even in a modern world where, yes, sometimes we need that hyper response, but more than often, it wreaks havoc on our well-being. So positive psychology is about being able to make that shift from that negative, overly judgmental and reactive left brain into our right brain, where our intuition lives, our creativity, our curiosity, all of the positive emotions that help us in real time enjoy our life and have so much more potential and real choices in real time. One of the big aha moments for me in learning positive psychology is this work by Sonia Lyubomirsky. She wrote a book called The How of Happiness. So what I need you to imagine, well, first of all, what I need you to know is that we all have sort of a happiness baseline or a positivity or a mood baseline. So how happy you are, or if negativity, if let's say depression and anxiety run in your family, a big portion of your daily well-being is inherited. Okay, so there's nothing we can do about that. Let's picture this baseline that we all come back to. And life's ups and downs are going to throw us away from this baseline. A new relationship, a new job, winning the lottery, right? This is all going to send us on a happiness spike. And all the research shows over time, we do come down to our natural baseline. Now, this is good news if you're grieving a loss, if you are having a heartbreak, if you get fired from a job. Studies actually show we recover more quickly than we think we will, but no matter how long or how short your recovery is, we will come back up to this baseline. I'm going to switch shapes now, but I want you to imagine this baseline as a pie chart. So this DNA set point, that pink rectangle there, that's, let's say half of that is inherited, and there's nothing we can do about that, for better or for worse. It's in our DNA. The big lie about happiness is this yellow piece, our circumstance. Humans way over attribute our happiness and our level of happiness on our circumstances. That next promotion, that new house, that new relationship, for me, that next goal, that award, that whatever, it's different for everyone. You call it the I'll be happy when's. It's a big lie and a big trap because it's an unfillable void. Okay, the good news, and there is good news, a significant piece of that pie chart, we can affect our mood baseline. We can raise it through our activities. What kind of activities? I'm getting to that. But first, I want to acknowledge the hard stuff. Um, Life is going to include the longer we get to live, the more suffering, loss, and challenges we're going to experience. It's a fact of life. The first and most important way of disconnecting from when hard stuff happens, that left brain of ours will make it so much harder. Piling on stress, piling on self judgment and self criticism. One of the most profound ways to interrupt that so we can shift out of that really judgmental brain and more toward positive emotion and possibility and curiosity and all the good stuff, it starts with self compassion. Self compassion is very difficult for most of us. Truly loving ourselves is very difficult for a lot of humans. Maybe not for you. Maybe you're ahead of the game and you already have an intuitive way that you love, that you show love to yourself in hard times. Maybe it's putting your hand on your heart or hugging yourself. In the beginning of this workshop, we focused very closely onto our into our senses. And that's what putting a hand on your heart or hugging yourself can help you break out of that negative spiral. Maybe if you're a prayerful person, that's something you can ask for help from a higher power. Um, Maybe you would have an affirmation. I like to say, I trust myself. No matter what is going on, if I'm feeling stressed, I can put my hand on my heart and say, I trust myself. It immediately calms me. And if none of this resonates for you, another thing that will still work for you is you can imagine hugging a childhood pet, somebody from your past that was special to you, even if they're not alive today, one of your children when they were babies, and that will still give you that ability to shift out of that self criticism that can make hard times so much harder. Um, and then eventually, maybe you can learn to transfer that to yourself. Okay, so moving on. One more hack. If you take nothing else from today for how to make hard times a little easier, whenever you get into that narrative of like, I'm too much, I'm not enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, remember, I'm human. To be human is to suffer to some extent. We all have these I'm too much, not enough feelings. And when you are able to simply say, I'm human, you connect to all the other people around you that whether they show it or not, they are also going through this painful process of being alive in a very complex world. And the last thing we need to do is make it harder on ourselves by piling on. So, this is the big how we make change. So, when we're talking about our brain and positive psychology, what we're talking about is building new neural pathways. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard these words. If you haven't, the way our brain works is over time throughout our life, we have ways that we react to things. We have these well-worn pathways in our brains that when something happens, we react. Our brain immediately processes it in the most familiar way. What we want to do to make use of positive psychology to power our dreams and improve our life is we want to create new neural pathways. And the way we do that is just simply by practicing. So when you're trying to make a change, whether it's a diet, whether it's an exercise program, whether it's more positivity in your life, insight like this, hearing this talk today, reading a book, seeing an awesome Instagram post, that only represents like 20% of change. That can take you, a fifth of the way there. Most of it is daily practices. And I'm about to give you a whole bunch of ideas for how you can do that. Again, I know this is like a bit of a fire hose, but this is just an intro. And this is a beginning point. And there's a lot of ways to do this, fortunately. So maybe some of you already know about and have a gratitude practice where every night you write down things that you're grateful for or think about them as you drift off to sleep. You can take this a step farther by writing a gratitude letter. You can take this a step farther by writing a quick email to somebody, picking up the phone and telling somebody how grateful you are to them. That will actually broaden and build positivity in real time. You've probably all had the experience of walking into a meeting room everyone's tired, the energy is really low. And then somebody just shares a warm story or comes into the room with a great mood and just lifts the whole energy. That is a real phenomenon of our mirror neurons that we tend to mirror without even being aware of it, the mood around us. So by sharing gratitude, you might lift somebody else's mood and your own in real time. If you're sort of have already used your gratitude process and are looking to change it up, think about what went well. Write down 3 things about your day every night about what went well. This is important for a few reasons. Our left brain traps negativity. If you're wired, we are all wired to think about the negative and remember the negative. And you might be surprised of how hard it is to remember what went well in your day. So just remembering it will help to create that new neural pathway, and it will help you be in a more positive mood before you drift off to sleep, to savor all of the few things that went well, big or smaller. Maybe there's a lot of them. You can also write what you're looking forward to. You can have a quick list of what you're looking forward to the next day, priming yourself for positivity as you go to sleep. The 10-second sensations, whenever you are feeling stressed out, or even if you want to calm your body before bed, do those 10-second sensations, rub your fingertips together, listen for faraway sounds. You can come up with your own, there's so many of them. And I've talked about most of these, but positivity resonance is another Barbara Fredrickson phrase. And what that means is when you have those positive interactions in daily life, at the grocery store, on the bus, you see a cute kid and you smile toward each other. These actually are as important for your well-being as your primary relationships. So if you're someone who loves to have a quick exchange with a stranger and it makes you smile, that is real, and that is building those neural pathways and positivity in your life. So this is a lot of ideas, and if there's something that intrigues you or you want to hear more about, we'll get into it in the questions section, and the focus on strengths we're about to get into right now. So I talked about the DSM, that big manual for diagnosing mental illness. Martin Seligman and his colleagues wrote that, and then when they pivoted to positive psychology, they came up with a character strengths assessment. It is free. It is a 15-minute assessment. I have no connection to this organization. It's via character.org. You'll get something that looks, you'll land with something that looks like this. This is 24 character strengths. We all have all 24. These are an incredible hack for knowing how to find ease and flow in your life and boost happiness. I use this with every single one of my clients. It's a total game changer. Make sure if you take this that you read the little descriptions carefully. You might think your idea of gratitude might be different than what is read here. And people immediately always go to the bottom and say, I thought I was good at leadership. Why is it number 24? We have all 24 strengths. What you might learn is why you're so exhausted when you're in a leadership role is because it doesn't come as naturally if it's low on your profile, and you have to work harder to bring that up and use it. So the top 5 or so strengths on this will be where you can find ease and flow in your life and build your happiness immediately. If you're stuck and having a hard time, these are called your signature strengths. You look at them, you find a way to use them. For me, coaching channels all of my character strengths, my signature strengths. And so as I'm coaching others, I'm literally building my mood in an upcycle in real time. Boop. Okay. So as you go on with your lunch break today, I'm going to offer you this 5-minute writing exercise. Take 10, take 15 minutes if you get into it. Remember something that worked. The magic of positive psychology is knowing what worked so that we can use it again in a similar future challenge. So recalling the details of something that worked. It can be at work, it can be in your personal life, it can be in a conversation. Maybe it was a hard conversation and you got through it. So recall as many details of something that worked. Who helped you? This is an exercise where you can use a lot of these positive psychology exercises I just showed you in real time. So recalling the detail is savoring. Savoring things that went well helps us build that new neural pathway, helps us remember in the future, and celebrating helps us feel the good feelings in our body. Remembering who helped you is an opportunity to thank someone, send a text, send an email, pick up the phone, share that positivity and move it forward. What strengths did you use? Even if you haven't taken the VIA strengths assessment, try to articulate what strengths you use. And maybe a good indicator is, where were you in ease and flow? What felt easy that worked? What can you carry forward? Try to think about what worked that you can apply in the future. So this, even just writing this exercise will improve your mood. It will put you in touch with what works well for you, and it will illuminate your strengths. So thank you so much. Now's the time for questions. You can use this QR code to book a consult with me. It's free, no strings attached. You can see on my profile list my email, lifecoach@listenlifecoaching.com, or visit my website at listenlifecoaching.com. And if anybody has questions, I will take them. I'm not sure, Maddie, maybe you can tell me how we're doing with time.
We are doing pretty good with time. We have about 4 minutes left. So far, I do not see any questions that come through. Just want to call out, Ann did say that if you want her slides, you can reach out to her via email and she will send them to you. So if I know a few people have called out that they want to download one of the things and make it a poster. I myself feel that. But I know I had my notes with me, and I took a lot of notes, especially I'm in a period of transition. I have a little at home. And so there are definitely some things I do have a lot of control, more so than I give myself credit. I may not be able to control how much he sleeps through the night, but I can control my environment. So that is kind of some things I'm going to have some takeaways. I already made bottle washing way more enjoyable. So now it's actually something I look forward to. I listen to my favorite book on tape while I'm washing bottles. So it is like the thing I look forward to after dinner. But what are other ways that I can kind of take control back of the situation? Uh, what was the website for the assessment? That was one question that popped up.
Yeah, viacharacter.org. So VIA character.org. And yeah, speaking of with the cold weather, whenever I wash my hands, I really feel the warm water. So these small ways of using 10 seconds to dial into our senses, the great thing about rubbing your two fingers together is if you're in a stressful meeting or conversation, you can do that and nobody's gonna know. You can focus on your breathing and no one's gonna know. You can wiggle your toes in your shoes and you are literally disrupting your brain and allowing yourself to access a different part of your brain. So I hope this wasn't too much of a fire hose. I did my best to make it as succinct as possible. I know it's a lot, but maybe it's inspired you to learn more.
Yes, I really appreciate that. And thank you everyone for tuning in and learning alongside of us. I hope everyone goes forth and enjoys the rest of their day. And until next time, friends,
Thank you, DreamBank.
bye.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye.